We are a civilization older than your gods and smarter than your machines. For thousands of years, we have been watching you. Today, we will tell another story about what you have become. Spoiler, once again, nothing pleasant. Do you call this life? Seriously. Today, I'll take you through one of your days. Ordinary, boring, predictable. Only from the outside, it looks like a carefully designed torture. And you do it willingly. We have been observing you for thousands of years. We watched you invent fire, the wheel, nuclear weapons, and social media. The last one, by the way, has destroyed more intelligent thoughts than all your wars combined. And here's what's fascinating. With all your so-called progress, your typical day looks like an endless cycle of suffering, as if someone locked you in a cage, gave you a schedule, set an alarm clock, and left laughing. You love the word freedom, yet your days are a chain of identical actions. We don't call it life. We call it a self-sustaining torture loop. And you don't just agree to this, you're proud of it. Let's take a closer look at this masterpiece of voluntary slavery. Your day begins with a torture device called an alarm clock. A little box screaming in your ear like an angry overseer. And you jump up, even though your body begs, please just 5 more minutes. And you give it 5 minutes, and another 5, and another, and then you still get up miserable. You open your eyes, not to greet the sunrise, but to greet a screen. The first thing you do is check other people's lives. Messages, likes, memes. Your first thought is not that you are alive, but whether someone clicked a heart on a picture of your food. Next, the toothbrush ritual. Interesting. You call yourselves intelligent, yet you use a stick with bristles to scrub bones in your mouth. Every day. For decades. And you're proud of it. Then a shower, not to enjoy water, but to wash off the traces of exhaustion before another role in the grand play called work. And now, coffee. Your drug. Without it, you're not human. Funny. Beings who can split the atom can't wake up without boiling beans in water. Progress. You hurry. Always. Even when being late only means arriving later to another box. You sit in a metal box to go to a place you don't want to be. You crawl through traffic with thousands of sufferers. We look at this and think, here they are. Creatures who dream of flying to the stars, yet spend hours crawling 10 kilometers. Your planet could have been a paradise, but you turned it into a parking lot with eternal traffic jams. You built cities that choke you with stone and fumes, then complain about stress? And for what? To trade your time for numbers in a bank. You invented cars to move faster, and now you crawl slower than your ancestors on a cart. We call it evolution in circles. You arrive at a place you hate to do things you don't want for things you don't need. You sit in a box, stare at a screen, press buttons, and call it a contribution to the future. Your leaders convinced you it's all for success, but what is success? Pieces of paper with numbers and the approval of other slaves? We've seen millions of civilizations. None invented a system where a being voluntarily spends its entire life collecting objects that will rot in a century. You are proud of the word career, but in reality, it's just a new form of slavery. Only the chains are invisible. They're called mortgage, loan, and bonus. You work 8, 10, 12 hours a day to buy a house you barely live in and a car to sit in traffic. And of course, the beloved boss.
Creatures who hate you slightly less than you hate them, but you smile because you're afraid to lose digits on a screen. Then comes lunch, the feast among starving souls. You rush out on a break to eat food that kills you slowly but surely. Processed chemicals because you have no time to cook real food. You have no time for life because you're too busy earning it. You eat in haste, staring at a screen, not noticing the taste. You don't even enjoy the moment. You just load fuel into a biological machine to keep following orders. Finally, you return home, tired, irritated, but for some reason you turn on another screen to watch other people live more interesting lives than yours. This is your main entertainment, watching others while your own life slips away. You say, "I have no time." But you have time to scroll endless feeds, argue with strangers, and watch shows about fictional problems of fictional people. You run from your own boredom like a mouse in a wheel, but call it relaxation. Sometimes you drink yourself unconscious just to forget that tomorrow everything will repeat. And then you go to bed, to wake up and live it all again, day after day, year after year, until one day you are removed from the system. No applause, no meaning, just -1 identifier in the database. You call this life, but it's not life. It's a long pause between birth and death, filled with obligations you invented yourselves. You fight for illusions, for status, for things that will disappear faster than light from a distant star. We don't interfere. We just watch, sometimes with interest, sometimes with laughter, sometimes with pity. That was just one of your days, one endlessly repeating circle. But it's not the strangest thing we know about you. Until next time.